There was a girl in Lagos. Everybody knew her name, but nobody knew her pain. They called her Blessing. But at night, on the streets, they called her something else. A prostitute. Follow me, let me tell you the story. Not the kind people just insult online. No. The kind that had seen life finish her. Blessing didn't choose the streets. The streets chose her. Her mother died early. Her father disappeared like smoke. And the man she trusted used her, then left her with nothing but shame. So she learned survival. Lipstick became her armor. Night became her job. Pain became normal. She stopped crying long ago, because tears didn't pay rent. One night, something strange happened. She was sitting by the roadside, tired, empty, when she heard singing from a church nearby. Not the loud kind, but soft, broken, real. Jesus, you love me too much. Something in her froze. She laughed at herself first. Church. Me. But her legs. They stood up anyway. And she walked in. People stared. Some recognized her immediately. Whispers started. That's her. She is one of them. Why is she here? But she didn't leave. She just stood at the back, shaking. Then the choir sang again. And for the first time in years, Blessing cried. Not quiet crying. Deep crying. The kind that breaks something inside you. After service, the pastor called her. He didn't insult her. Didn't chase her. He just said, "Daughter, what are you looking for in the streets that God cannot give you?" That question finished her. That night, she gave her life to Christ. Days passed. She stopped going out at night. Stopped dressing the old way. Stopped answering old calls. But it wasn't easy. Her past was still knocking. Her phone still ringing. Her mind still remembering. But she stayed. And then, she did something shocking. She joined the choir. Church people were not happy. Ah. Choir. Does pastor even know who she is? She will spoil the church. Even some sisters in church looked at her like dirt. But one sister in particular, her own biological sister, hated her the most. Because she knew everything. Every shameful detail. And she made sure Blessing never forgot it. Every rehearsal, she was tested. People laughed when she sang. Some refused to stand beside her. Some said, "Her voice smells like her past." But something strange was happening. When Blessing sang, people cried. Even those who hated her couldn't explain it. Because grace was speaking louder than gossip. But one Sunday, something happened in church. Something nobody expected. The sister who hated her stood up during testimony. And what she said next shook the entire church. The church was silent. After weeks of tension, judgment, and whispers, someone finally stood up for testimony. But nobody was ready for what she was about to say. Because what came out of her mouth was not normal testimony. It was exposure. The woman walked slowly to the front. Head down. Church quiet. Even the pastor leaned forward. Then she picked the microphone and said, "I didn't come here to give testimony of blessing. I came here to confess something." Murmuring started immediately. Confess what? What is she saying? This is church, oh. But she raised her hand. "Please, let me speak." Silence returned. And then she said something that changed everything. "I know Blessing, the girl in your choir." All eyes turned. Blessing froze in her seat. Her heart dropped. The woman continued. "I knew her before she came to church. She was not always like this. She didn't choose that life. And I was part of the reason she fell into it. Gasps. People turned to each other. Even Mercy stiffened. The woman began to cry. I betrayed her trust. I lied against her when she was innocent. I pushed her into the hands of the wrong people. And I watched her suffer. The church exploded in whispers. The pastor raised his hand. Order in the house. But nobody was calm anymore. Because now, the story of Blessing was no longer just gossip. It was becoming truth. A painful truth. Blessing stood up slowly. Eyes full of tears. She didn't even shout. She just said, "Why now?" Her voice shook. "You watched me suffer, and now you're talking. Why didn't you speak when I was dying outside?" The church went silent again. The woman fell to her knees. "I was afraid. I didn't think you could be forgiven. I didn't know God would still take you." She cried harder. "And now I see you singing in His house. And I can't keep silent anymore." But just as the church thought it was over, Mercy stood up. Blessing's own sister. And what she said next made the entire congregation freeze again. Because she said, "This testimony is not complete. There is something about Blessing you still don't know." Mercy stood up. "This testimony is not complete. Follow me, let's know what happened next." But before she could finish, the pastor quickly stepped in. "Service is over." Just like that. Dismissal. The church was restless. People didn't move. What was she about to say? What is still hidden? Which other truth again? But the pastor insisted. "We will continue next week." Next week. For a moment like this, it didn't sit well with anyone. Outside the church, groups formed immediately. Whispers turned loud. "Did you hear what that woman said? So Blessing was set up. Then all this time we judged her wrongly." But then, another voice. "But what did Mercy want to say?" Because everybody knew. Mercy doesn't talk unless there's fire. Blessing walked out quietly. Head down. Heart heavy. She didn't even wait for anyone. But Mercy followed her. "Blessing." She stopped. Slowly turned. Their eyes met. Years of pain, standing face to face. Mercy spoke first. "You think this is over?" Blessing frowned. "What do you mean?" Mercy stepped closer. "That woman only said half of the truth. There is something you're still hiding." Silence. Tension. Blessing's heartbeat changed. Because deep down, she knew. There was something. Something she buried. Something nobody in church knew. Not even pastor. Not even the choir. Mercy leaned closer. Voice low, dangerous. "If they find out who you really were to those men, this church will not even let you stand at the gate." Blessing stepped back. Eyes wide. "No." Mercy straightened. "Oh yes." That night, Blessing couldn't sleep. The past came rushing back. Faces. Voices. Secrets. And one particular memory. The one she swore never to speak about. "God, if this comes out, I will lose everything." Next Sunday came faster than expected. The church was full. Not for service. For truth. Even people that stopped coming, returned. Because word had spread. Something big is about to be revealed. Service started. Tension everywhere. Then choir was called. And suddenly, the lead singer was absent. Confusion again. The choir leader looked around. Then said, "Blessing, you will lead." Gasps. Mercy looked up sharply. So she still wants to stand? Blessing walked slowly to the front. Her legs felt heavy. Her mind louder than ever. What if today is the day everything ends? But still. She held the mic. Music started. First note, shaky. Second, stronger. Then deeper. Her voice carried pain. But also surrender. People felt it. Some closed their eyes. Some began to cry. Even those who judged her could not deny it. Grace was speaking. Then suddenly, Blessing's voice stopped. Her eyes locked to the back of the church. Someone was standing there. A man. From her past. Not just any man. The one who knew her deepest secret. The one Mercy was talking about. And slowly, he started walking toward the altar. The microphone slipped from her hand. Because she knew. If this man speaks, everything is finished. The man kept walking, slowly, confidently. Each step, louder than the last. Church silent. Eyes following him. And Blessing. She couldn't breathe. Because this was not just someone from her past. This was the past she buried alive. He stopped right in front of the altar.
Sir, I need to speak.
Looked straight at Blessing. Then turned to the pastor.
Listen to me.
Sir, I need to speak. The church held its breath. Pastor hesitated. But something in the moment said, this cannot be stopped. He handed him the microphone. The man sighed. Looked around. Then said,
My name is Daniel.
My name is Daniel.
And everything you think
And
you know
everything
about
you think
her
you know about this girl
is not even half.
is not even half of
This
it.
is it.
Gasps. Mercy folded her arms slowly. This is it, she whispered. Daniel continued. Yes,
Yes,
she was on the streets.
she lived a rough life.
But not just as a prostitute.
But she worked with us.
She worked for us.
Worked how?
Confusion. What does that mean? Worked how? Then he said it. She was part of a network. A setup. The church erupted.
What?
A network.
Jesus!
Jesus. What kind of
Let
church
us
is
be
this?
still and listen.
Pastor shouted. Quiet. Silence returned, but heavier. Daniel's voice dropped.
We targeted
We
men.
targeted rich men.
We used
married
girls
men.
like her
We used girls
to
like
set them
her
up and ruin their
to
lives.
trap them, blackmail them,
And she was very
destroy
good at it.
homes. And she was one of our best. Dead silence. No whisper. No movement. Just shock. Mercy shook her head slowly. Tears in her eyes now. So it's true. I knew it. But this wasn't anger anymore. It was something deeper. Disappointment. Blessing fell to her knees.
It's true.
Right there on the altar.
I did it.
Crying.
I
Not
hurt
small tears.
people.
Broken tears. Yes.
Yes, it's
Shouted.
true.
It's true.
I did it.
Gasped again. I did
I
it.
hurt people.
I was part of it. I destroyed homes.
Yes,
I
it's
ruined
true.
people. Her
I
voice
did
cracked.
it.
I am not just a sinner.
I hurt people.
I was dangerous. But then, Daniel spoke again. Tell them the rest.
Tell
Blessing
them the
froze.
rest.
No.
Tell
Don't.
them why.
But Daniel didn't stop. Tell them why you joined. Silence. The entire church leaned in. Blessing slowly lifted her head. Tears everywhere. Voice shaking. I didn't join them willingly. I was sold into it. Shock. What? She continued. The same man that ruined my life sold me to that group. And the person who introduced me was someone from my own house. Blessing turned slowly. Her eyes locking onto someone in the crowd. Everyone followed her gaze. And when they saw who she was looking at, the entire church froze. Because she was looking at Mercy. Heavy silence. The church froze. Not whispering. Not moving. Just shock. Because Blessing was pointing at only one person. Her own sister. Mercy. Long pause. Mercy staggered back. What are you saying? Her voice shook. But Blessing didn't look away. You introduced me to that man. Silence. You told me he would help me. Tears streamed down her face. But you knew who he was. Mercy shook her head quickly. No, that's not true. You're lying. But her voice wasn't strong anymore. It was breaking. Daniel stepped forward again. She's not lying. All eyes turned back to him. You brought her to us. You said she was desperate, easy to control. Gasps echoed through the church. Mercy covered her mouth. Tears dropped. Her silence said everything. The pastor spoke, voice firm. Why? Just one word. But heavy. Mercy broke. I was angry. She screamed. I was tired of cleaning her mess. I was tired of people laughing at our family. I wanted her gone. Pause, pain settles in. So when I met him, and he offered help, I didn't ask questions. I just gave her away. The church erupted. Jesus. Her own sister. This is wickedness. Some people cried. Some covered their mouths. Because betrayal from outside is painful. But from blood, that one cuts differently. Mercy dropped to her knees, facing Blessing. I didn't know it would become like that. I swear. I didn't know. Her voice was gone. Just regret left. Blessing stood there. Tears still flowing. Pain, anger, memories. All fighting inside her. This was the moment. The moment everyone was waiting for. Revenge, or something else. Long pause. Blessing took a slow step forward. Then another. Until she stood in front of Mercy. Everyone leaned in. Waiting. Then. She did something nobody expected. She knelt down too. I suffered because of you. Her voice soft. But I also found God because of that suffering. Tears dropped on the altar floor. If I hold this, I will go back to who I was. Pause. And I don't want that life anymore. She reached out. Held Mercy's hand. I forgive you. Silence. Then tears. All over the church. Even the strongest men wiped their eyes. Because this was not normal forgiveness. This was grace. The pastor stepped forward. Voice heavy with emotion. Today, we have witnessed 2 miracles. A life restored. And a heart forgiven. He turned to the church. Let nobody here ever look down on another person again. Blessing stood up slowly. No longer the girl from the street. No longer the shame people whispered about. But a living testimony. Because sometimes, the people you think are too dirty for God are the ones He is about to use the most.